I'm Veena Jetti, and in today's video, I want to take a deeper dive into the types of real estate asset classes there are. We know that there's A, B, C, and D properties, but where does Section 8 fit in, and is it a good investment? What are some of the benefits of investing in Section 8? Let's dive right in and find out. Let's take a deep dive into Section 8 housing. Everybody's heard of Section 8 housing, but what does it mean to actually invest into Section 8 housing? Are there advantages, disadvantages? What does it really mean? How do you get paid? Let's take a deep dive into Section 8 housing and exactly what it means to invest into it. The first thing we need to understand is what exactly is Section 8 housing? This descriptor refers to Section 8 of the Housing Act of 1937, a New Deal era program which offers government subsidies to low-income individuals and families. Section 8 used to refer to government-sponsored housing projects. Nowadays, the government avoids building housing outright and instead provides payment vouchers to Section 8 tenants. What does that mean for us as landlords? It means that landlords that provide Section 8 housing are no longer operating government-built buildings, which is how it initially operated when the program first rolled out in the early 1900s. Now it's a voucher program, and any housing theoretically could be used as Section 8 housing. And as a landlord, I can decide whether or not to accept Section 8 subsidies as part of my rental payment or not. So the question everybody wants to know is Section 8 a smart investment? Approving your rental unit for Section 8 tenant has a unique set of costs and benefits. Like any investment opportunity, it's critical to understand what being a Section 8 landlord entails before jumping in headlong. The answer to this question is, it depends. It depends on who you are, who you want to be as a landlord, what your business plan is, what your risk tolerance is. There's so many different ways to look at any deal that you might look at it differently than I look at it, and we might both have valid conclusions about the investment thesis or the investment plan. So let's talk a little bit more about what the true costs, benefits, risks, and rewards are of owning Section 8 housing so that you can make a determination if it is a smart investment for you or not. First, I want to talk about what are some of the benefits of working with the government, because that's what you're doing essentially with Section 8 housing. The biggest benefit of being a Section 8 landlord is you never have to worry about rent being paid on time again. Since each county establishes its own payment scale, the location of your rental is critically important to the amount of rent you will receive. If you're willing to look outside your own market, there could be opportunities to maximize unique above market prices for Section 8 that could be available. As somebody who primarily invests into market rate deals, knowing that your tenants are going to be paying your rent on time every month like clockwork is crucial to being able to operate effectively and efficiently. If I knew all of my tenants were always going to pay rent on the first of the month without fail, it would be totally different how I could operate, because now I have dollars in the bank that I could plan on. I'm probably going to have a much less delinquency amount that I need to plan for, and even less bad debt as I'm looking at my numbers and creating pro formas. So this is a huge advantage that someone investing in Section 8 housing will have over market rate rents. While one of the benefits of working with the government might be getting your rent payment on time, let's talk about what some of the costs are to working with the government. Renting to Section 8 tenants comes with a notoriously long and slow paperwork process. In addition, only government-approved contractors can sign off on the mandatory inspections, and their schedules are often full. Section 8 landlords also have less control over their property. Landlords have to petition the housing authority before raising rent prices, which they can deny without any recourse. In other words, there's a lot of red tape you have to cross when you're a Section 8 landlord. In market rate deals, I don't really have to ask anybody. I just have to follow whatever the local ordinances or rules are to change the pricing on my assets to increase rent. I also don't have to work with contractors that are government approved. I can work with any contractor that makes sense for my business plan or for my assets, and I have a lot of control over that. Also, we can shorten timelines a lot because we don't have to wait for all this red tape to get crossed and all of the government bureaucracy that comes along with it. So while you might be getting your rent payments on time, there's a lot of hurdles you have to go through to even get there in the first place. What are some of the benefits of having Section 8 tenants? There's a national shortage of Section 8 housing. So once renters find a good place, they have a strong incentive to stay as long as they can. This results in stable payments to the landlord over a long period of time. In addition to this, if the landlord can cater to niche markets like physically disabled persons who have special needs, they're even more likely to receive steady, uninterrupted payments for years to come. Of course, getting on-time payments is something that is really valuable to landlords, and especially with a shortage, when there's so much more demand than supply, it can be a great investment strategy if that's the right strategy for you. I've done Section 8 before, and there are a lot of complications that also come with it on the other side. So it's something to consider when you're thinking about whether this is the right investment strategy. What are some of the costs that are unique to landlords of Section 8 properties as it relates to tenants? Section 8 tenants are much less likely to repair normal wear and tear damage to your property. Since continuing Section 8 approval relies on recurring inspections, landlords will often have to spend time and money to repair damages caused by their tenants. I think it's really important to note that it can be kind of cumbersome to maintain a Section 8 property. I'm not saying that a landlord wouldn't fix a leaky faucet or a light bulb that has gone out. Of course, landlords, that's your responsibility regardless of whether you're in Section 8 or market rate rent. The challenge becomes when you have to do it on a certain time schedule to maintain your Section 8 approval. And if you miss that, you can either be fined pretty significantly or you cannot get paid. And one of the biggest benefits of being in Section 8 housing is getting paid on time. Now, I've only had a couple of Section 8 tenants in our portfolio, and they were actually a little bit more challenging because they were in single family homes, not multifamily. And in those single family homes, the Section 8 tenants, while we got rent on time, keeping up with the demands of Section 8 repairs was very cumbersome compared to market rate. Also, we got a lot of noise complaints from the neighbors for loud music or leaving trash or toys or just things in the yard. Our HOAs are very strict about how the outward appearance of the property is. And so having Section 8 in those types of areas can be very challenging. And obviously, I'm not saying that all Section 8 tenants will do this. This is just the experience that we had. Market rate has been a lot more manageable and easier for us to handle, especially when we're doing it at scale in multifamily, which is our preferred asset class in today's market. Today, we talked a lot about the costs and benefits of Section 8 housing and whether it's a good investment. And we answered that it kind of depends. For me, I much rather use market rate multifamily assets as the strategy that I choose to invest in. If you want to talk more about Section 8 housing or the strategy that's right for you, click the link below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the next video.